Serious, what are some secrets of the PRN industry? 1. Male PRN stars need to be able to get an erection and have it on and off for up to 90 minutes. 2. Many scenes you see are actually reshot. So that cowgirl scene may be the 5th time they did it just to make sure it was good. Hence Viagra. Tons of Viagra. Talking to a friend who got out of the industry. What she loves most now is having a normal digestive cycle. Every star is in a constant cycle of moving from popping laxatives for days to anti-air heels to guarantee their cleanliness during an L shoots. And buying douche kits in bulk. After weeks of intestinal confusion. It leads to pains, cramping, etc. For a guy to be able to survive in the PRN industry, you have to be able to masturbate in the same room as 20 of your best friends. James Dean has said that is what he learned, so he started to have sex at raves and clubs to gain that confidence. Ex-adult site content manager. When you sign up for a subscription, you don't usually get all of the content at once. We add new galleries each couple of weeks to keep you interested and your accounts active. Sometimes we release fake logins to the public just to see what sites are pirating so that we can later block all traffic from that IP. Sometimes we even let you watch a few videos and then require you to create an account to see more. So that is why the fake logins I find around the web never f***ing work more than once. The biggest secret from my days in PRN was the fake cum shot. Take a condom. Fill the tip with lotion, or Cetaphil, and some water. Tie it off and cut off the rest. You end up with a small balloon that the male holds under his dick and squeezes. I'm not 100% sure, but I heard that a male performer won an AVN award for best cum shot and it was a fake one. My company doesn't really do fake cum shots. I don't know if it's like a policy thing or just our talent. But often the time elapsed from pull out to the pop is like 10 minutes while the guy jerks it while everyone on set sits there in silence. Is it true PRN stars do a colon cleanse before an L scenes? Every time? Both? Being an ex-videographer, I've seen what happens when it's not done. And let me tell you, it ruins your day. She's actually 29, not 18. I had a lovely dinner with a friend of a friend who works in PRN in Australia and the US. The one story that stuck with me was that when she was doing simple naked, non-intercourse photo shoots for websites, girls with pubic hair were getting paid 50% more than girls without, $900 instead of $600. Girls with pubes were so rare that they were in demand with punters and consequently attracted a premium. Naturally, once all the girls without pubes found that out, they stopped epilating. The trouble was that most of them had been attacking their pubic hair for that long that they found it wouldn't grow back properly. It was too sparse. Or had bald patches. So they would use all sorts of techniques to enhance their existing pubes. From spirit gum and their own hair to coloring over the bald patches with non-toxic markers and eyeliner. With no sex involved to dislodge their handiwork. As long as the pubes looked convincing, they picked up the fatter paycheck. Maybe it's just me, but the idea of PRN models obsessing over their vagus the way that middle-aged men obsess over their bald spots was really f***ing amusing. A lot of times when women squirt, it's not actually their bodily fluids, but liquid that has been injected and is forced out. Cytherea is a good example of this. And I believe there is a video somewhere of someone pouring liquid into her. That being said, squirting is real. Trust me. I don't work for the industry, but I noticed a long time ago how there would be cuts to different angles where there wasn't a camera guy visible in the previous shot. This means they have to stop and change the lights, camera and microphone placement. In other words, 20-minute film of F-King is really a few hours of shooting. And they have to stop between takes. This gives average men a misconception of how sex is supposed to be. They think 20-40 minutes of hard pounding constantly is actually possible. It may be for the rare individual. Science clocks the average SZUL encounter at 7-12 minutes. There's my useless 2 cents. As a welder in the manufacturing industry, I would have never thought in a million years that OSHA regulates the PRN industry too. Welding is a lot like SX. You have to manage your keyhole, your rod angle, and ensure good penetration. You should wear protection. And every once in a while you need to apply some gel to your nozzle. I didn't work in the industry long. But surprise surprise, there's some sketchy people there. I just worked as a driver, taking girls to auditions and to shoots. One company bounced a check to me. I got yelled at for bringing a girl to an audition suggested by another trusted company. Many of the girls were 18-20. And obviously being taken advantage of in that they probably weren't getting paid well. And coerced into doing more than they bargained for. One girl I had to leave at a motel because she started copping an attitude. And wouldn't cooperate or go on any of the scheduled auditions. So she may have just been using the talent agency to get a free flight to LA, in which case, good for her. TL. Dear, lots of sleazy people. Lots of backstabbing. Lots of egos. Another thing I should note. A lot of the actresses look nothing like you think they do. It's all makeup and Photoshop. I know this because I used to be the guy touching up a lot of the photos. A lot of the girls look very different without makeup. And some of them are actually so ugly you wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole. A few, however, look better without makeup emo. Every guy in a gay PRN video is on a combination of Cialis, Viagra, and sometimes even a little bit of alcohol. We also take as long as 3 hours a scene. And one 15-30 minutes video is in actuality over the course of 2 days and 12+ hours long. After shooting, it is likely the same dudes you're F-king on camera are your wingmen out on the strip for when you pick up girls. Oh. And there is a lot of drug addiction in the gay PRN industry as well. I know a lot of bullshit about the industry. Source: adult film actor. I worked as a graphic web designer for a pretty popular PRN company. I remember a lot of talk about herpes. Apparently, almost everyone in the PRN industry has herpes and no one really cares. Also, the actors don't get paid nearly as much as you'd think. Edit. Most actors don't get paid as much as you'd think. However, some of them do get paid pretty well and are even on salary contracts. Their entire lives consist of looking good, staying healthy, and F-king for a living. What a life. Edit. Almost forgot. I used to come up with a lot of the crappy scripts you've probably seen. For instance, there is one where the actress is at school and gets hurt and the coach comes to her aid. He asks where it hurts and she keeps pointing to certain spots and then they start a hardcore FCK sesh. That was me. I've only been told this by people and have never actually looked it up, partly because I think it would ruin things a bit for me. But apparently producers add squishy noises over the top of blowy scenes and close-up shots. They make these noises themselves with their mouths. So the sounds you could end up hearing are actually just a guy swilling jelly around his mouth. Dubbed over a video of a girl deep-throating a guy. Video PRN. I cannot comment on. But erotica writing is quite possibly the least SI occupation. When you're thinking about ways to make SX seem fresh and interesting for hours a day, you occasionally find yourself having to make the effort not to script your actual lovemaking. Plus, it completely warps your mindset about what can be considered normal and acceptable sexual topics for public discussion. The number of times I've tried something with my boyfriend in order to write about it, only to find that we've both been reduced to exclaiming, "Well, that's F-king ridiculous," is incredible. It's fun as hell, though. The secret is not to think that is how people usually have sex. If you are young and you think that every girl you will bang walks around with perfect tits and a neatly trimmed whisker biscuit, you are mistaken, my friend. Oh, and don't feel inadequate when you see a PRN star whip out his howitzer. It's not that you are below average, unless you are. His job is to have a big dick. Comment key. Whisker biscuit equals vagina. Howitzer equals large penis. There was a very interesting Louis Theroux documentary on the poem industry and also a follow-up 1 year later. Good watch, actually anything by him is the best. This is not about the poem industry. I know a guy who works as a driver in the Northern California gay PRN industry. He's always telling stories about what he's seen on the inside. According to him, there's usually a goodie bag at the set to help the male stars keep it up and last longer. Viagra, Cialis, numbing creams, cocaine, and some kind of penis injections. I could be completely off base, but I believe I read somewhere about how it isn't uncommon for female PRN stars to sell themselves out to random guys willing to pay. They work around the whole prostitution being illegal thing by simply filming it. I seem to remember a guy contracting HIV while shooting in Brazil. A tranny boy scene, I think. Anyway, he came back to America and did the PRNO and gave 3 girls HIV. One of them was a first timer doing anal. That's why now they are very heavy with HIV testing. You would also be surprised with how many actually enjoy it. Doing PRN, I mean. Don't think this is a secret, but there are a lot of slimeballs out there. Bring girls and saying they will do one thing, then when they arrive change the whole script, then threaten blackmail them if they resist. They also abuse and refuse to let the girls quit mid-shoot. If you've ever seen Max Hardcore films, you'd know what I'm talking about. I met a guy in rehab that did PRN and this is what he told me. Oh, so male talent has to do gay PRN first in order to get to straight PRN. I'm not sure if he was F-king with me or not on this. Also, meth is everywhere in the industry. Which is weird because meth shrinks my balls every time. So PRN with real in the title is lying. Meth shrinks my balls every time. Dude. I think there should be a reverse topic of this. i.e. what are some secrets the PRN industry doesn't know about their audience? For example, how many people seriously enjoy watching blowjobs? How many people seriously enjoy watching cum shots? How many people seriously watch a whole 30-minute scene? If the answer to each of these is not many, then maybe the PRN industry should rethink a few things. Attention. Please keep in mind that the OP of this thread has chosen to mark this post with the serious replies only tag. Therefore, any replies that are jokes, puns, off topic, or are otherwise non-contributory will be removed. If you see others posting comments that violate this tag, please report them to the mods. Thanks for your cooperation and enjoy the discussion. I am a bot. Our auto moderator comments Q11 per what is auto moderator, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit. Message compose equals %2fr%2f ask Reddit if you have any questions or concerns. Look up the James Dean AMA. Cum is rarely cum. Most of the actresses are happier than women who live normal lives. The damaged goods theory is not supported by studies. Fluffers are still around, but they're not common. Katie Morgan, ex-PRN star, hosted over 100 episodes of her podcast SX with Katie Morgan, during which she revealed a whole hell of a lot about the PRN industry. I'd recommend you find it and listen to it if you're interested in that sort of thing. And GT. Cum is rarely cum. So then what is it? Edit.